You're being insane again. He sighed, rolling over. It's all in your head. 4 years. I believed him. Today, my friend finally confessed. I'm so sorry I didn't go to your wedding. I couldn't watch you marry him. Not when I knew he was cheating on you the whole time. Hey Reddit. I'm kinda spiraling right now and I don't know where else to put this. For 4 years, I was with my now ex-husband. We were a whirlwind, got pregnant, decided marriage was the next logical step, and built what I thought was a life. We have a beautiful daughter who is almost 3, and she is my entire world. But looking back, I can see the whole foundation of our relationship was rotten from the start, and I don't get how I couldn't see it. It was never one big, obvious thing. It was more like a constant, low hum of anxiety in the back of my mind, a feeling that something was always slightly off-key. I remember one night specifically, maybe a year or so before we got married. We were in bed, and his phone, which was always face down on the nightstand, lit up. It was nearly 2 a.m. I saw a preview of the text, just a name I didn't recognize and a winky face emoji. My brain immediately went into overdrive. Who texts at 2 a.m. with a winky face? What am I supposed to do now? If I ask, he'll get mad. If I don't, I want sleep for a week. I decided to just be calm and ask. I nudged him gently and said, "Hey, your phone just went off." Looked important. He didn't even open his eyes. He just sighed, this deep, theatrical sigh that was designed to make me feel small. "Babe, it's just work stuff. You know how they are." He rolled over, his back to me. The dismissal was so absolute. I pushed a little, my voice trembling slightly. It just seemed friendly, for a work text. That's when he turned back, his face not angry, but filled with this kind of tired pity. "You're doing it again," he said, his voice soft. "You're creating these scenarios in your head. You always seem to be looking for a problem. Honestly, it's exhausting." He patted my arm. "Everything is fine. You're just letting your anxiety get the best of you. Go to sleep." And the sickest part, I believed him. I lay there in the dark, my heart pounding, and all I could think was, he's right. I am being crazy. I'm the one causing problems. This is a good man, and I'm going to ruin it with my paranoia. I apologized to him. I actually apologized for feeling a flicker of intuition. Over the next few years, this became our routine. My gut would scream, it'd bring up a concern, and head calmly and logically explain how my perception was flawed, how I was the one who was unstable. I got so good at silencing that inner voice that eventually, I could barely hear it anymore. Has anyone else been through this? Where you were so convinced that you were the problem that you couldn't see the giant, flashing red signs right in front of your face? It feels like I was in a fog for 4 years. Fast forward, the wedding happened, the baby arrived, and for a few months, I was so submerged in the fog of new motherhood that the anxiety hummed a little quieter. I was exhausted, but I was happy. Our daughter was perfect. I thought, this is it. We're a real family. The crazy part is over. 7 months after she was born, I learned that the crazy part had never even begun. It was a Sunday morning. He was in the shower, and I was tidying up our bedroom, picking up clothes and just trying to reclaim a tiny piece of the space from the baby chaos. His phone was on the nightstand, face down as always. It lit up, and for a second, I just ignored it, but it lit up again, and again, a string of notifications. I walked over, my heart starting that familiar, frantic rhythm. My brain was already supplying his excuses. It's a group chat for work. It's a fantasy football thing. But when I turned the phone over, I saw her name, the 18-year-old bartender he always joked about, the one who was like a goofy little sister to him. The message preview was blunt. "Last night was amazing. Can't stop thinking about it." My thought process wasn't emotional at first. It was cold, analytical. Last night he said he was out with his buddies from work. He got home late. He was quiet. This message is not from a goofy little sister. My hands were shaking, but I unlocked his phone. His password was our daughter's birthday. The irony was so thick it felt like I could choke on it. I opened their message thread, and my world just ended. It was all there. Weeks of it. Photos, pet names, plans to meet at their spot. It wasn't just a flirtation, it was a full-blown relationship. When he walked out of the bathroom, a towel around his waist, humming, I was just standing in the middle of the room holding the phone. The look on his face when he saw me is burned into my memory forever. He started with the usual script, a smirk on his face, snooping. What's got you so worked up this time?" My voice was flat. "I don't know where it came from." "Who is she?" "I told you. She's a kid from the bar." "You're being insane." He started to walk toward me, to put his arm around me, to do the whole condescending comfort thing. I took a step back and read one of her texts out loud. "Can't wait for you to leave your crazy wife so we can be together for real. I looked up from the screen and met his eyes. Am I still the crazy one? And that's when it happened. The change. The confident, pitying smirk dissolved. The color drained from his face. His eyes darted around the room, looking for an escape route. An excuse. A lie he hadn't used before. He found nothing. He just stood there, dripping water onto our bedroom carpet, completely and utterly silent. In that silence, I got 4 years of answers. In that moment, I realized my intuition hadn't been a sickness. It was the only healthy part of me, and I had tried to medicate it into submission for the man standing in front of me. How do you even process that? The person you built your life with is a total stranger. What do you do in the 5 minutes after your entire reality shatters? The divorce was hell, but we got through it. I've spent the last 2 years rebuilding my life from the ground up, focusing on my daughter and learning to trust myself again. It's been hard, but I was finally getting to a place where I felt like the past was in the past. Then today happened. An old friend of mine came over to help me assemble a new bookshelf for my daughter's room. We were drinking coffee, surrounded by screws and particle board, just catching up like normal. Out of nowhere, a random memory popped into my head. Hey, I said, not even looking up from the confusing instructions. This is totally random, but I was just thinking you never actually told me why you couldn't make it to my wedding. Was your flight canceled or something? The silence that followed was heavy. The sound of him stirring his coffee stopped. I looked up, and he was staring down into his mug like it held the secrets of the universe. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Yeah, he stammered. Something like that. My stomach dropped. That old, familiar hum of anxiety started right back up. What does that mean? I asked, my voice quieter now. He finally looked at me, and his face was full of guilt. Look, he started, his voice low. I never knew how to tell you this, and I'm so sorry. But the reason I didn't go to your wedding is because I knew he was cheating on you. The whole time, I just stared at him. The Allen key fell out of my hand and clattered on the floor. My brain was trying to process the words, but they weren't making sense. The whole time, before the baby, before the wedding, my friend continued, speaking quickly now like he just had to get it all out. I tried to tell you, man, I really did. It'd say little things, like, are you sure he's the one? Or he seems to go out with his buddies a lot. But you were so in love. You were so defensive of him. The one time I pushed it, you told me I was being negative and that I just didn't get it. I felt like if I came out and said it, you would have just cut me out of your life. And I couldn't stand the thought of you being totally isolated with him. And that's the part that's absolutely destroying me. He wasn't just a liar, I was an accomplice in my own deception. I had built the walls of my fantasy so high that my friends couldn't even throw the truth over them. I came from a broken family, and all I ever wanted was for my daughter to grow up with 2 parents who loved each other. I wanted her to see true love, to have the one thing I never did. That dream was so powerful that I refused to see the nightmare I was actually living in. I love my daughter more than anything, and I don't regret her for a single second. But God, I feel like I could have saved myself 4 years of pain, and saved her from having to split her life between 2 houses for the next 16 years. Stupid me. So, Reddit, here's my question. Why do we do this? Why do we miss or ignore so many red flags when we want something so badly? And for anyone who's been in my friend's position, why is it so hard for people to just say something? I feel like I'm looking back at a 4-year-long movie where I was the only one in the theater who didn't know the ending. Was I just that blind?